this thing out. Yeah, there you go. Just give it a minute for people to get into the stream before I dive in. Just give it a minute for people to get into Hopefully this should set up okay. Oh, brother. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Or if anyone's even listening in. I might just have a full-on hour conversation by myself. I'm sure there's at least one of you watching though. Alright, I got one. It says I have one person watching me. I don't even know if that's myself. Oh my god. Alright. Yeah, I'll start in like a minute or something. And then dive into everything. Where did it go? If someone can let me know if the music's too loud, and if they can hear me fine, give me like a yes or like something. Oh yeah, Alex here, #1 fan. Alright, so I got my homie Alex from overseas listening in. Must be late there, but okay. Can you hear me alright, Alex? Oh, yeah, look at that. Alright. I'm just gonna get all the ones lined up. Right, Alex, make sure you have your notebook ready. Make some notes. Right, I think that's good. I think that is quite good. Alright, cool. Even if it's just you and me, man. let's dive into it. So, and for anyone who's listening in later, I know that a handful of you, can't tune in at this time, whether it's the middle of the night for you or you're occupied with something else. Appreciate you guys hopping in here to take a listen, and hopefully you guys learn something and I don't waste an hour of your time. As I mentioned in the chat earlier today, we'll kind of do a similar layout as we did last week, where I go over some of the notable movers in the past week and basically go over why they did well, how they could have caught our eye, and the proper way to go about playing them. So I think it'll be pretty straightforward, similar to last week, but just using more current data, and the setups will be obviously slightly different. So, alright, so let's start with this one here. As you guys can see, I have an alert set. Hoping that it can, you guys know I've had this chart posted probably a dozen times today. Set an alert on this retest here. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but if it does, I'd like to get some bids lined up there to fill. But for now, I'll clean the chart off. We'll kind of start at the basic naked chart and just go through the standard procedure that we always do. So zooming out, as you guys can see, we've, like majority of alts, if I zoom out even further, we've been downtrending for a very long time. This used to be worth, 121k, and now is worth 5. And as you can see, it's been lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, down. And finally, we got to this area right here. Honestly, there's no way you could have caught this. Like, it was just a sporadic, massive green candle. But as you guys saw, we were capable of at least catching this second leg for the most part. So let's go ahead, before we really do much of anything, I'll set some horizontal levels, just same as usual, just levels that we've tested multiple times as either a support level or a resistance level. So one there, and just taking a look here. Yeah, we've tested this level quite a few times as well. So right off the bat, we have those levels marked out. And yeah, this one's a bit of an ugly one. As you guys saw, massive green candle, and obviously tons of sell-off all the way back to our favorite 200-day exponential moving average. I'm not sure which one this is, so I think that's the 20 MA. So anyway, yeah, we came back. We seem to find a base right here, and we went sideways for 12 days. This would have been the point where we could have bought, and we did buy some. Thankfully, not enough as we probably should have, but filled up on this retest, seeing that we were holding these MAs, and then simply hit 1, 2, 3, all 3 of our targets within the matter of 2 days. So a lot of volume on this one. Don't really know where it came from. or what sparked it. It's not like there's fundamentals that you know, brought this to life. I think it's just one of the shit coins that um, has decided to get pumped. But anyway, just zooming in a bit, and we can change our horizontal lines to fit a more current bias. Like when you zoom in, obviously you get to see the more like inter-hour price action. So you can see price hit here as support, here is resistance. So this right away is a level that we can assume, and here as well. So 3 times. I'll just highlight them quick. 1, 2, 3 times it's been tested. So it's fair to assume if we get back here again, we'll see some kind of bounce, and that's a good opportunity to get in. All right, perfect. And then, yeah, even here, I suppose on the daily time frame, this level that we set up earlier, I wouldn't bid here yet, only because price hasn't closed above here on the daily time frame. I'll reevaluate once again if we close above this horizontal level, but for now it's not an actual support. So buying here, hoping it would bounce here, doesn't make sense just because it's not a confirmed support yet. It's still, in essence, a resistance until price closes. I can't make that more clear. I think I've drilled that into your guys' mind to wait for price to close above support to buy or below a resistance to short. Yeah, but yeah, until then it's, you know, it's just not going to respect that level. Yeah, until you get that candle close. So yeah, these are, you know, these are the 2 levels I'm keeping a close eye on for the time being, but for now, no further action just because we've moved so heavily in a short amount of time that with this volatility, the risk versus reward isn't that great to get in right now. So I won't be putting too big of an allocation into this. So, but at a simple glance, MAs look good. You can see they're underneath us as support, but they're quite far below us. So they're not going to be of much help being all the way down here, right? If we consider them as like a support level, well, you know, what good is it to us if that support level is, you know, 38% below us? They're basically irrelevant until they're much closer to where current price is. So yes, they look good, but they're too far away. So if price comes back to this area, right here, which is both the horizontal and the MA cluster, that's a fairly good reason to, you know, a good spot to fill your bids. So a lot of levels on this one. But yeah, with all the recent movement, I won't be putting too much more into it, at least for now. We'll see if this level holds. We'll see how price closes. There's multiple things to keep an eye on, but yeah, we'll see what happens. This one's pretty crazy so far. So yeah, for all I know, it's gonna moon to the max. But yeah, for now, no further action. So I think that covers that one. Just making sure you guys aren't like confused with anything. Might just be you and me, Alex. I actually have no idea. Oh, there's 2 people watching. All right. Hello, second person watching. Yeah, all I've really done so far is gone over Lim so far. Let's look at Bitcoin, by the way, first, before we really dive into anything else. Wow, look at this thing go. So, look at the 4-hour level. How should I explain this briefly? So, I know I've set this chart a few times, and we were basically ranging here in the screen box for quite a few days. We're getting pushed up, and sorry for the quick drawings, we're just trying to do it fairly quickly. And we've just been stuck in this range. There's only a few days, but you know, you couldn't really do anything during here. Alts were moving, which is good, but we've clearly broken above this range and starting to flip the 4-hour MAs, so it's looking very strong. The last time I looked, we were trying to cross this horizontal level, which we now have. Yeah, which is obviously quite bullish. We'll see where price closes. It's 5:22 right now. Daily closes in 3 hours from now. We'll see where we close. But next, I'd be looking at a retest of this level, just because we've respected it here, and we've did a lot of, we had a lot of price action in this area recently. So it's fair to assume once again that we'll come down for a retest and do whatever and work our way up. The next level of resistance is 10K again. We'll see if we can smash through and hold it. It's a brief rundown on Bitcoin. Nothing too crazy, fairly straightforward. 4-hour MAs look good. Daily MAs look good. Hourly MAs even look good. So everything is looking bullish in that case, and which is good. It makes our lives a lot easier. So yeah, I think that covers that. Pretty straightforward. Don't need to overcomplicate this stuff. Okay, cool. And if you guys have any questions or want me to clarify on anything, please don't hesitate to ask. This is only my second stream, and I'm trying to get through it at a decent pace, but not leave out, any important details. So if you guys want me to like elaborate, just shoot me the question and I'll take a look. All right, so yeah, no, that's fairly strong. Has me a little baffled. How much up are we on the day? Like, look at that daily candle. That's huge. Like, that's a lot of volume. We're not following it anymore. It looks like absolute dog shit, actually. Just looking at the S&P, we had that massive down move with the coronavirus scare. Had this bit of rally. And same as shitcoins, we've lost the 4-hour 200 EMA. And all the rest are curling downwards. We're kind of bearish retesting it now. And I have a really good feeling that if Trump doesn't do anything soon and print a lot of money, we're gonna go down. So, or I guess the most optimistic way to look at it would be, traditional investors wanting to invest in something that's bullish and simple to trade. If crypto starts going up and up and up, and everything traditional wise goes down, it could in a sense attract that money to the space. So it's something to keep in mind, I think. So very good. So this one is Matic's phenomenal. There's really not a lot to chart on this one. Okay, cool. So I don't know if I know Alex listened into the last stream, and whoever's listening to this now, I go through I go through the same process every time I look at a chart. I either start at the daily or 4-hour time frame, one of the two, never anything else. Typically the daily, it just gives you a better macro picture of what's the trend and just an overall market structure, or I guess a structure for that specific coin. So zooming out on the daily, I like to go ahead and set important horizontal levels before I go ahead and do anything. So here's the local bottom. Here's a level we tested. Here's resistance. Here's resistance. We'll put some little hammers just for clarity. And then test it here. Support. Bounced, but then once we lost that level, it was game over. It fell pretty damn hard down. So this range here would have been a great spot, at least to set some bids, because you saw we respected price here. We're ranging a bit. If we had set bids after seeing that, we would have got wicked into and our bids would have got filled. Hindsight, probably should have done that, but as you can also see, the MAs also don't look too great. you know, back here they're as resistance, and it was pointing down, or else I would have, if they were underneath us as support, that would have been a different story. But we've had this range so far for, wow, yeah, no, 62 days. It's really not a lot's happened. 2 months to accumulate. Whales have filled their bags. Let's just mark a couple more horizontal levels before I go too far. So here's another one. You can see resistance, flip support, and then yeah, it didn't even respect it at all on the way down. But as you can see, it also, just hold on, let me do some more of these. And oops, and here, so that's another horizontal level to keep an eye on. And then usually, if there's not too many tests on the way up, I usually just mark the very top level. So those, in a sense, are our targets that I set. It was also interesting, I'm sure you guys saw in my last chart, the trend line that came about from this. So zooming out, you know, it's pretty clear as day that there's a slight upward trend here, and this trend line has been respected for, well, since listing, right? Just for a little more clarity, there's the bounce there, the bounce there, the bounce there, and it fell through, but price didn't close, which was what I was looking for, and that's what we bid on. I said to the group, as long as we hold this trend line and don't close below, bids in this area are for buying, and that's exactly what we did. The bid zone, I believe, was, I know it was at 170 till 174 or something like that. So I just marked that 170 area, and ever since then we've gone up, you know, almost 30%. Yeah, and then on leverage, that's, you know, over 100% if you did the standard Binance 5x margin. So interesting to know. But now, if you're trying to figure out what your next step should be, well, one, the daily close is going to be fairly important. We're fighting this 200 MA, as you can see right here, struggling to close above it. But if you mark the previous high right here, that could potentially be a aggressive bid area if price closes, especially, like, I'd wait till price closes at daily close in a few hours. And then, yeah, if you want to be aggressive, bid there. If you want to be a little more passive, which I would probably do, bid this daily MA cluster down here. You can see they're all tight right around here at the 189 level. I think that's what I instructed the group as well, 188, 189 or something like that, just to play a little more passive, and you know, the invalidation is a little tighter. And if you want to play super passive, you could bid at this trend line once again. So there's once again a bunch of different levels you can keep an eye on. Maybe average in on each level, you know, put a third here, third here, third here, and see what gets filled before it moves up. So yeah, my assumption is that daily closes here. We retest this horizontal level, the previous high, before we move up to the next horizontal level that we marked out for another 23%. And yeah, same thing. I'll draw a picture in a sec, but so my assumption, we come down, retest, you know, do whatever, swing high. We might not make it the first try, whatever, flip it. Yep. So we could just keep buying the flips as we've been doing with a lot of other coins. Yes, like buy down here, sell resistance, wait to the flip, buy it at support, and then sell resistance. And then once we flip, buy again. It's a pretty simple cycle, you know. Buy the bottom, sell the top, buy the bottom, sell the top, buy the bottom, sell the top, and just keep moving your way up. This will be really interesting if we flip, or I guess once we flip this level, it's probably going to be game on, I'm assuming, because that's an 81% gap to that high there. So definitely want to keep an eye on. This is why I like Matic so much. It moves heavily, has really big gaps, a lot of volume. and some simple levels to play. So that's where my head's at. Keeping a close eye on it. Yeah, other than that, that's really about it. So as you guys saw, one, I started with the trend line that I noticed, and I think a couple other people saw it as well on CT. You know, see that we're, you know, going sideways for 62 days. Well, typically that's accumulation. If we're at a low like this, if we're all the way up here and we're going sideways, that's typically distribution where people are selling their bags. But down here, it wouldn't make sense for whales to sell their bags, right? So they're, I'm assuming, filling up, and now we've broken out of this range that we've been in, or the sideways accumulation we've been in, breaking it above, hopefully close this high, and then just work our way up, and yeah, we'll see what Matic does, but yeah, hopefully makes us a lot of money. So that's really about it. Cool. No questions? Pretty straightforward. Okay. Very good, very good. So keep an eye on that. Yeah, that's really about it. You can zoom in on the 4-hour if you want to. So as mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned the daily MAs are flipped into support. The 4-hour MAs are flipped as support. That's 2 check marks. Starting an uptrend, there's a check mark. A lot of volume, there's a check mark. Big gaps between each horizontal level, that's another check mark. So it's you know, it's a standard like checklist, I guess you could say, that you can go through when you look at a coin. Maybe I'll write it out real quick actually, just to shed some clarity. I guess you have that in here: uptrend, downtrend, or sideways. Simply ignore the downtrends. If something's going down, it's probably just going to keep going down until it proves you otherwise. There's no point in, you know, putting your time and effort in something that's going down when there's a bunch of things that are either going sideways or up. If we're going up, yeah, if we're going up, how far up are we from the bottom? That's a good way to look at it. We want coins that have just broken their downtrend. So something that has gone down for a long time. We want to find something that, you know, something like this: down, lower low, lower high, lower low. We want to find something that's reclaimed its previous low. That's, you know, a trigger on its own to, you know, at least pay it some attention. Not necessarily get in, but at least, you know, it's worth checking out and charting fully. Number 2, you want to set your horizontal levels. Yeah, where is price respected multiple times in the past? So where, exactly like we've done, where has price retested as resistance or support multiple times? Mark those out. Gives you just a clear idea of the gaps between each level, right? And like, if there's really, you know, if there's, you know, not high gaps between them, like if it's only like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6%, like, you know, just not in crypto anyway, it's not really worth the time. But if you're, you know, hitting 23, 20, 100% between gaps, that's a different reason as well. Hopefully you guys can read this. Make it a little bigger. So you set your horizontal levels. Some people don't use MAs, but I'm going to talk about MAs. Are the 4-hour and daily MAs flipped into support or resistance? Yeah, if MAs are, especially on the daily, if they're resistance, move on to the next one. If they're the 4-hour resistance but daily support, you know, maybe I just need some time, but I typically wait, I'll add a little note, wait until both are support to enter. Yeah, well, that's what I do anyway. Some people, you know, will buy in if one is flipped and one's not, but with there being so many options, I usually wait for both. But what else? Yeah, no, honestly, if you just start with those three things, MAs, horizontals, and uptrending or downtrending, that's a really good start, I think. And then are there any clear trend lines? As you can see, there's this massive one here. Yeah, and sometimes they won't be that obvious. Sorry, I need to elaborate a little more on this first one here. Are we uptrending or downtrending on the daily? So I don't really give a shit if the 5-minute is uptrending or downtrending. It's pretty damn irrelevant to me. It's all about the high time frame, especially with trading altcoins. Yeah, there's really no point in zooming in too far. I've never found a purpose in it. Clearly I'm doing quite well with, yeah, just using the higher time frame. It just gives you a clear bias or understanding of direction, but this choppy 5-minute shit, it's, yeah, it might get you a % or two, but big picture wise, you know, you won't get those big moves by being zoomed in so far. So, as I mentioned last time, just zoom the fuck out. It's probably the most like simple thing that I'm telling you guys, but it's probably one of the most important. So, yeah, that's really about it. Sorry about my little rant. So yeah, that's Matic. I'll move into the next one now. Sorry, my girlfriend's showing me her boobs, so I'm trying to focus here. All right. Yeah, look at this guy, eh? BHT. So this one's gone pretty parabolic. It's gone up 800% since beginning of the year, January-ish. Maybe even if you bought it in February, you would have caught almost the entire move. But yeah, looking at this hindsight, you're like, what the heck? Why didn't I catch it? But let's just, oops, wrong one. Let's use this replay function a bit just to see what we're working with here. So back here, yeah, that's a pretty ugly daily candle. But when you're looking at this, let's say we're flash back to February. You pull up this chart while you're scanning the entire exchange. You see that it's downtrending, downtrending, downtrending. Here would have been an initial trigger, just because we stopped downtrending. We didn't keep going down this way. We reclaimed some previous lows. You can mark it even. What the heck? Why is that green? Interesting. Okay. So downtrending, downtrending, downtrending. We reclaimed this previous low compared to this low. So that stopped. That basically is the end of our downtrend. But yeah, honestly, I probably would have bid. Hopefully, you guys can see this. I probably would have bid around here because we were above the MAs at that time, and we were reclaiming a previous low, but clearly that didn't hold. So I would have sat out until maybe we, held this area. Yeah, but for now, let's see what happens here. So pretty interesting price action. Looks like we're back in this range. So let's set this horizontal level here. And see what happens. Oh, holy shit, look at that. Yeah, so that would have been like, there's anyone who says that they caught this from the beginning is full of crap. We clearly lost the low. Um, Retested that swing low here, but I wouldn't have set bids here, and I don't think it would have been smart to do that anyway. But um, yeah, initial trigger once again obviously would be this massive green candle shooting through the MAs again. Clearly there's volume. So if you caught this on February 25th, good for you. I would have set bids down at this MA retest or the horizontal level, but clearly it didn't come back. We'll see if it does come back. I'm not sure if it does or it just keeps going. Yeah, look, so lots of volume, massive wicks. Massive wicks like this up here mean massive sell-off. Yeah, but we'll see if it just keeps pumping through. Our MAs are clearly starting to pull up with current price, so you're gonna have to adjust your bids accordingly because as the MAs move up, your bids have to move up. Just because that it's basically a moving support, right? So let's see. Yeah, see, and it keeps moving up, keeps moving up. It's not giving us a great opportunity to get in because invalidation is so far away. And if we just YOLO entered up here, as I'm sure some of you do, you know, invalidation is pretty drastic, and you lose a lot of your portfolio. So yes, it's challenging to catch ones like this, to be fully honest with you. But right here, that's simple enough. Sitting on the SMMA 7. It's held this for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So that's, you know, a simple, you know, trigger again. I'd probably start setting some bids here just because if it's held it for 5 days, that's typically a clear sign that it wants to move up again. Hopefully this doesn't completely screw me. I don't actually remember exactly how this plays out, but if it's holding that for that many days, I'd probably start layering bids here and then layer bids out through the daily MAs. And then if it ever gets back down to this horizontal level, then yeah, I'd go quite a bit heavier just because of how volatile this one is. So let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Moves up, holds that level, even wicks to our favorite 200 MA. That for some reason is always respected. So if you set bids there, would have been a clean 70% in like a few days. So yeah, that would have been pretty straightforward. Let's see what it does now. Oh, yeah, so bid this 200 EMA again. I don't actually know if it holds, but yeah, it seems to be holding it for now. Massive rejection candle, and yep, holds. Starts to move up. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Look at that. If you just bid that 200 EMA retest, it held it for quite a few days, or weeks actually. That would have been the best spot to, sorry, that would have been the best spot to get into it when it ranged for, just checking how many days, ranged for 19 days on this MA, and it's actually hindsight, I probably should have caught that a little better, but it's hard to keep your eye on everything. So if you'd simply bought there during that range, you could just sell it on each massive move and bid the MA retest. Massive move up, MA retest, massive move up, and excuse me. If you had bought it there, you would have made a clean 300%. So hindsight's always something, but you just have to keep that in mind when something starts moving up. This is a higher high relative to this high, higher high compared to this high, and it's just clearly just making higher highs and higher lows on the way up. But this range would have been the the best way to have entered. So hopefully that's clear. Pretty straightforward stuff. Which time frame MAs do you give more significance? Should MAs on the 4-hour be supporting even if price is below daily? Price is below daily is below MAs. So I think you're just wondering if I prefer the daily or the 4-hour MAs. The higher the time frame, well, just in our case, I guess, the daily MAs have more significance than the 4-hour MAs. That's why usually when I scan through, I start on the daily time frame and I just like, I tap through and it just gives you a better picture of what's going on. Um, the 4 hours is where I typically go to actually get our specific entry, right? And that obviously helps at the same time with setting your entry because um, if MAs are if the 4-hour MAs are also at a horizontal level, that on its own is a good um, entry point. But if the daily MAs are also at that horizontal level, like they're both just confluence, right? If you have one or the other, it's just good reasoning, um, to have that as a whether it be a support or resistance level. So hopefully that's clear. But I do give significance to both, and both have their own um, use, I guess. But I prefer, um, the daily over the 4-hour. Okay, so let's move on. Covered limb, covered propy. Yeah, what a crazy little guy this was. Oh no, I didn't cover propy. I thought I did. Yeah, it's covering a limb. Okay. Hold on. It's already even. I don't even. Wait, is this the one? Yeah, this is the one I just went over. Actually, yeah. They all look so similar. They all do the same thing. They all start uptrending. Yeah, I don't even know if this was the one I just looked at, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, they all do the same thing. They start an uptrend. They have these massive up moves. They retest the MAs, and they just keep moving up. Yeah, like it's just still going. What an absolute tank. Yeah, no, I don't think this is the one I just went over. Sorry that I'm confusing as fuck, but yeah, okay. Let's just start this one over again, even if we did do it. So, set some horizontal levels. Do it kind of quickly. There's no real right or wrong. Just a visual aid on where prices respected previously, but yeah. Yeah, that would have been such an easy entry. Fuck. Okay, so so hindsight, yeah, this one wasn't the easiest to catch. There's so much shit going on the screen that it's probably hard to even understand what's going on here, but we saw this massive up move. Oh yeah, like what is that? 200% in like a day. So anyway, you wouldn't have caught that unless you were lucky and had a bag. But once it came down, and well, it didn't even respect the MAs at all. It kind of tried to here, fell, and then yeah, started to reclaim, massive move up. Yeah, this one's really hard to actually, this isn't the smooth price action that I usually like, but at the same time, we don't want to miss out on these because it's simple, quick money because of the volatility. So yeah, no, this one's actually quite hard to be honest. So we have all these massive up moves and they retest the 4-hour MAs. Yeah, it literally just does it over and over. So you could, in essence, buy these retests, sell on the massive up move, wait for it to come back down. Once it comes back down, you buy again, wait for the massive up move, and then it comes back down. Then the 4-hour MAs start moving up. You bid at the 4-hour MAs, massive up move, comes down a little, sits on this MA a bit. That would be a really aggressive bid. But yeah, it just keeps moving up and up and up, and I have a feeling it's not gonna stop, seeing that it has no MA resistance. They're both flip support, if you can see. Both looking strong, both curling up. They're not much help to us as support, but when they're curling like this and starting to move up, that's a really positive sign. So, resistance-wise, it doesn't even have a lot of resistance in the way. You could say this is next target, because it respected this level multiple times here. Oh, which it did. It wicked. I didn't even realize it wicked. It wicked exactly to that point. That's hilarious. So that's how you set good take profit levels, because you literally just pick spots that have respected it previously. You would have got filled to the actual T, so that's kind of funny. Once it flips, that is probably going to come around here, maybe a little bit higher. But that's a pretty significant gap once again, another 58% move. So gonna keep an eye on it, but right now we don't want to buy into something that's all the way up here. Doesn't make any sense. The risk versus reward is shit. We're almost at resistance. The downfall, you know, the fall to the next support is pretty significant. So I wouldn't do anything now. If you're wondering, hey, should I get in now? It's gonna keep going. Well, no, don't do that, because it might fill this little gap here, or it might fill this massive gap all the way back down. So best to just watch for now. The initial pump and retest, is it common for Hyobi coins? Yeah, it's yeah, as you can see, it does it basically all the time. I don't like when it does that. It's like, I don't like buying into something that's had a massive up move like that, but with Hyobi coins, it kind of seems that that's its like nature. It makes a massive up move just to get some attention, comes back down almost the entire move. I guess I'll show you. Yeah, it comes back down almost the entire move, and then doesn't go as low as this low. Like, you can tell, like, this low is lower than this low, so it's in a sense uptrending. Yeah, and then usually just keeps doing the same thing over and over again. Pretty straightforward. Buy the pumps, I mean, sell the pumps, buy the sell-off, and just do that over and over again. Yeah, so I think that's pretty straightforward. Hopefully I'm not rambling too much. I know I have a bad tendency of doing that. Work in progress. So that's Propy. Pretty easy. Just get rid of all that. We don't need that. So here's the NJ. It's pretty interesting and like clean chart. Very simple. This is the kind of price action I like, to be honest. Well, for the most part anyway. Just nice, just like slow and steady uptrend. Yeah, and hopefully it'll just continue going up. But yeah, to start, go to the daily as usual. Get your horizontal levels. You can see that we hold on, I'll zoom it out. Replay. Get the fuck out of the way. So back here in December, well, yeah, if we caught it earlier, we would have caught this flip of the daily MAs. You can see when they're all spread out like this, the MAs are all spread out. That's bad news bears, especially when prices underneath MAs that look like this, you want to run away. Like, if we were back here in this June area, I'd instantly move to the next one, just because they're gonna shove us down, and just gonna get tangled in there. It's gonna be an ugly mess. So we'd want to wait for. Let's get rid of this now. Actually, I'll just leave that. Wait for us to bottom out. We start going sideways, as you can see. For the most part, we're not going down anymore. Like, if we had kept going down and down and down, then I wouldn't have done anything. But seeing that we seem to have found this base, and we can mark that right away. Boom. So we never, if we had maybe come up here and lost it, if we'd come up here and lost it, you know, ignore it once again. But this level has been respected. Would be a great bid zone. Obviously didn't get filled at any point in time, but good to mark that low out. Let's also mark some other levels. Set this one right here. You can see it was the previous low, which also was respected as a SR level. Yeah, here would have been a good trigger too, just because respected, and then went above it. So that's yeah, that would have been a good buy opportunity right here at the daily MAs. Yeah, damn, hindsight is a bitch, but Um, anyway, let's set some more horizontal levels just because it's always best to do that first and get it out of the way and get an understanding of the levels you're working with. So that one, just because it was here and, well, just missed it here, but where else? Right here. And right here. And you can mark all the ones all the way up here, but I don't think we have to worry about those for a little while. Okay, so alright, so we've been going sideways for 116 days. That's a pretty good amount of time for whales to accumulate. We never reached this previous low. So we're just uptrending, uptrending, uptrending. Clearly missed that pump. Hindsight's a bitch. So we can at least set some new bid zones just in case price moves back down. Yeah, so let's click play, see what this one does. Oh wow, yeah. So even if we bought this MA flip, because yeah, let me elaborate a little more. You see they're all spread out, and above us is bad, below us is good. And as we start to go sideways down here, they converge together just because MAs are all based on like the previous however many amount of days the price is, like the average of the price for the past however many days. So 200 MA is like the past 200-day average. The 50, the 20, whatever number you're using. But if you're going sideways, the average is going to be lower and lower, right? Because you're like the average starts like excluding all these ones up here because this is your like most recent however many number of candle closes. Hopefully that makes sense. So anyway, if we flip them from this disgusting mess into support right here, that's exactly what we want. What's now underneath us and tight together. That's the perfect combo right there. So if we had simply bought that, maybe the retest of this horizontal level that we were respecting for so long, just that alone would have been a 78% move. And that's mega straightforward, I think. Like, I don't know if this keeps going. It might come back down. It has come back down. So we'll see where it goes. But in a sense, we can kind of set these two levels as potential bid zones. We'll see if they respect them. Yeah, and this would be like the omega like entry zone down here. So let's see what happens. So you would have got filled on a wick here if you set one, and you could have sold up here for another decent move, but it seems just to be bleeding off, not doing anything crazy. MAs are underneath us. I think it loses them. Yeah, once they lost him, it kind of just bled off. Yeah, look, just bouncing around in between these two levels we set. Flipped the MAs again. Yeah, bounced off the horizontal, and boom, another massive up move. You know, once again, could have caught it here on this breakout and retest. Same horizontal level we had marked. We would have had it marked back then too. And yeah, bought this retest right here, and you would have caught another 77. Yeah, well, yeah, similar amounts, another 77% up move. So it's pretty easy money right there, if you ask me. Kind of a bitch that we missed that, but anyway, let it keep playing, see what happens. As you can see, MAs are underneath us. Ricked off the 200 EMA a few times. Yeah, and once again, I think once we lose it, yeah. Well, I was thinking we just die off. I don't actually know. Yeah, see, yeah, starting to curl against us and shove down. Yeah, look at this. Pretty interesting price action. Where are we now? We're back in March, so yeah, every time you flip these MAs, you can literally just buy them and then sell the up move, and once you lose them, you close it out. And yeah, look, it's just hugging this 200 EMA constantly. Yeah, look at that. Easy money. You're gonna be invalidated a few times, but yeah, look, it just, holy fuck, that was clean. Yeah, literally retest here, retest here, retest here. Yeah, a bit choppy, but literally 5 easy times you could have bid the retest and just sold the up move for 40%, 34%, 70%. I don't know if it's hugging this horizontal level actually right now that we had marked from earlier. That's kind of interesting. But another 40%. So like, it's pretty easy money right there, boys. So when you say wait for MAs to reset, what does it mean? Okay, so MAs to reset is kind of what I was going over. Well, that's exactly what I was going over. When MAs are resetting, it's exactly like this when you can see they're all spread out. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all spread out, like between one another. They're above us, so you can see price is below them here, right? Bad. But once we start going sideways, I wish I could like show my hands or like, have a little bit better of a visual tool, but you can see they just start to group together here. Marking that blue, I guess, whatever. You can see them converging and flipping from resistance. You can see they're above us resistance, and now they're underneath us, and that's exactly what them resetting is. I don't know if I said that or if you heard that from somewhere else, but that's literally all it is, just going from this big ugly mess to nice and tight underneath us. Yeah, so hopefully that's clear. I feel like I've been talking a while. How long has this been going on for? I don't know. Okay, well, hopefully you guys are still listening in. Like I said, I'm trying to make it a little more brief, but I think we covered. Yeah, we didn't even need to zoom in on the 4 hour for anything. Just keep it simple. The daily is can be your bread and butter. Yeah, and yeah, that's really about it. I'm trying to think of what else I can like expand on this, but yeah, it's basically just MA's reset, flipped into support. We set our horizontal levels at the very beginning, so we already knew them before we even had any of these moves. So you can either bid at those levels or the MAs, and then literally just sell any kind of up move, and then exit on a close below. Pretty straightforward, I think. So we'll see what happens here. See how the daily closes. But as you can see from this horizontal level we set earlier, we could potentially even bid right where price is right now. It's fairly aggressive just because I don't like to buy things that are up. It's not a significant amount, but like from the bottom we're already up, almost 300%. I like ones that really haven't moved much at all. But yeah, this we'll see if this holds. We'll see what happens at the daily close. But let's say you did buy here. There's a decent 26% gap up to the next level. So we'll see what happens. And the daily MAs are right underneath us, which is also good. If it does lose, the horizontal level here, you could just do what we did with all these other times and bid this MA retest here once again. But I won't be playing Eng. I just wanted to give you guys a look at, just perspective of it. So hopefully that is also clear. This one was interesting. Lend was, I didn't even really play Lend at all. Let's zoom in on the 3-day just to get a good view of everything that's happened here. Got it. Can you show the settings for MA Krill? No, I would if I could, but he told me not to show anyone. It's Krillin's indicator that he told me to keep private. So, but I have the MAs that I've listed. I'll list them again. Yeah, EMA 200 is. I don't even need to type that out. EMA 200 is, even if you just had that on your chart, you would do perfectly fine. Like I know Dimitri was doing that for a while. That was the only one he had on his chart. I just like to have a whole bunch of them because it gives you a better, well, it gives myself anyway, a better picture of where they are and how spread out they are and how long it'll take to reset and I don't know, just having one isn't really enough in my opinion. But yeah, that EMA 200 just seems to be respected. a lot between all the exchanges. So yeah, the ones I use are the 20, the 50, the 100, the 200, and the MA200. Just one sec, guys. Alright, I'll go over a bit more. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to make these things too long, and I hope I'm getting to the point quick enough. Yeah. So just looking at Lend was another one of the big movers that we like, well, at least saw. I probably should have played it a little more, but the 3-day MAs actually look quite good. I don't usually look at them much, but I know that a couple of other big traders do. Sorry, I need to drink some beer. Yeah, so, but just looking at the 3-day, just, I don't know, it can give you a much better picture. For we're here on the daily, like, you don't see much price history, unless you're like kind of like scrolling all the way back, and it's kind of awkward to do. So 3-day can sometimes give you a clear picture, and go through the exact same process. Just set some levels where price has respected multiple times. I guess that's fine. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's really about it. Set one appears well. Okay. So I remember I actually kind of figured this was a cup and handle to an extent. You see this literal cup, and then it has this handle here. Some people think cup and handles aren't reversal patterns. I don't know. I don't take them with a grain of salt, but I just remember seeing this and I posted on Twitter and I got a lot of likes. Just kind of stuff you notice over time, I guess, with practice. But yeah, no, I take it with a grain of salt. But anyway, yeah, some pretty interesting price action on this one, to be honest. I'm just trying to think of where I can start. So let's say we were, I don't know, back here. You see this shit. Zoom in on the daily. Yeah, this is a good example of them kind of resetting to a certain extent. So as you can see, just like massive sell-offs here. No sign of life. The MAs are above us and spread out. They look like absolute dog shit. So I'd ignore. But right when we get to this point here, they are not exactly reset, because when they're resetting, usually it goes sideways for a period of time. It didn't really go sideways for too long, but it had enough momentum to kind of flip them, and then they were somewhat forced to pull close together. So right here would have been a good entry point, just because they're now flipped and we're not just going down anymore. We've reclaimed previous lows here. This is the previous low. Reclaimed it here, retested it perfectly, and then yeah, just played out. I literally would have just bought there, just waited, and as long as MAs are underneath us and we're continuing to go up, doesn't really make sense to sell. So yeah, look at that. It just went up. Look at that. Simple. 300%. Still holding these MAs here. Yeah, wow, that's pretty clean actually. How simple that would have been. So if you just bought that MA flip right there, you would have made 500% if you held on. Hindsight, you probably would have sold an up move. You could have bought the retest here on the MAs. Another up move, another retest down here. Yeah, then massive, disgusting, bloody sell-off. So I would have, yeah, here you can see the MAs are now against us. Then this absolutely ridiculous up move that had no, like, it just came out of nowhere. Could set this as a bid zone just because we've been here before. I don't actually know how this one played out. Yeah, look, you would have got wicked into. Yeah, very interesting price action on this one, actually. I think some people argued that this was a Head and Shoulders, but then completely busted that. Wow. Yeah, literally just been, if you had just bought down here and chilled, you could have retired, to be honest. Respecting that 200 EMA again. Could have bid that like we usually do, and then sold the up move. Another massive sell-off. Came right back down around to the 200 EMA. Then yeah, lost it. So I would have lost interest there until we either reclaim. Well, you would have to reclaim again, which yeah. So a lot of volume on this fucker. Yeah, any kind of MA reclaim, it seems that you just have to buy and you're good to go. Wow. Yep, that's really about it, guys. Just literally just buy the MA reclaims and enjoy the ride. Wish I had more to say on that, but that's really all you had to do. And as you move up, just keep like setting horizontals. Like, hold on, let me hold on. Let's say we were. I don't know if we were here, I guess. Always just set your horizontal at the previous high. And then once you flip it, you can just bid at that high. So, flipped it. Sorry. And then right when we flipped it, you could have set that bid here, and it got wicked into perfectly. Yeah, twice. Oh, shit. Then we lost it and validated. RIP. So now we want to wait for the flip again. That was a really bad example. Wow. Yeah, so you're going to want to wait for that flip once again, though. You can see it was, respected as a level a few times. Once you flip it again, then you can bid it. So yeah, right there you would have bid it. Up you go, and yeah. I think that's really about it. I don't really have much else to say about that one. Fuck, I can't see what you guys are saying, if you're saying anything, or if I'm just rambling now. Okay, yeah, no, you guys are good, I guess. I'm just gonna do one more quick. I've been talking for like over an hour now, and I wanted to keep these things brief. I'm just gonna do one more quick. Oh shit. I had a trend line here that I wanted to draw. If you guys see any obvious trend lines, it's obviously just good to draw them on there, because price does like to respect trend lines on the way up as well. Yeah, but I don't want to spend too much time doing this. It could take me a little while. Yeah, I don't feel like messing around. I was telling you guys previously, you can use this Gainsey diagonal, what's it called, indicator. Can be pretty helpful sometimes. Just help like show you exactly where proper trend lines are, and then you can just draw them on yourself. And yeah, it gives you an idea of, well, just where trend lines are. Pretty straightforward. Okay, let's just do one more, and I'll wrap it up. I know Krillin played this one. Yeah, I don't really like the MAs on it, but it would have been easy to play on the 4 hour, and I wish I sent it to you guys. Yeah, so it's exactly what I had drawn there, but I'm assuming the first time he saw it was this massive up move here, because these MAs are shit on every time frame. So he probably would have been like, okay, screw this, I'm not looking at it. But yeah, once we had that up move, stereotypical Hyobi retraces majority of it, comes back down to this MA cluster. Yeah, and literally just moves up once again. You could have set your horizontal at the top of that high, and that's typically a level you can use in the future. So let's just play it out here. We had the massive up move. You wouldn't have bought there because we don't do that. It's stupid to do that. You wait for the sell-off, hit the MAs, you buy here, and then another massive up move. could buy the retest of this previous high, highlighted in green, wait it out, another massive up move, you could sell the up move, wait for another retest of the area, bits filled again, and then ride it all the way up. And I always set a horizontal at like the previous high. So let's say we were, where were we? I think we were here. We were here. And I was like, oh wow, like this, it doesn't look amazing. Well, it doesn't look awful either. The MAs look good. Horizontal's been set here at this previous high. Um, so you could have bid here at this MA retest or wait for us to flip and buy there. Hopefully this is clear. I'm trying not to ramble too much, but fuck it. Just let it play out. So you could have bought here and then sold when it hit here as resistance. And then yeah, wait for the flip. So it flipped, another massive up move. Hold on, pause. Oh, is this current? Yeah, so this is current. So just do the same thing again. Literally, this is the next previous high. You could bid. You could bid down here where the MAs are, or wait for the flip and bid there. So it's moved up quite a lot since the bottom, but it's doing the same thing literally and over and over again, making highs, basically selling off all the way, then breaking through the previous high, coming back again, going sideways, breaking up, beating the previous high again, retesting, going up again to new highs. Literally the same thing. It's going to sell off a bit and then break the highs and retest and literally probably do the same thing over and over again. Yeah, I think that's really about it. So I felt like I was all over the place during this stream, but I don't know. I hope that'll at least help you guys a bit. I think I have the pressure from my girlfriend like staring at me. I don't really do very well under that kind of pressure, but yeah, looking at ETN on the daily, it looks really strong as well. Like massive full green candles, and then this once fully red candle has almost been completely diminished and is close to flipping green. So that's pretty bullish on its own. I didn't mark horizontal levels, so I'm kind of going against my own usual routine, but it's important to do that. It's important to make sure you do it as early as possible, so you don't waste too much time. So yeah, even this level here, you could have waited. You could have just bid there earlier today, and you'd be up. Yeah. So I think that's it. I'm gonna wrap things up, guys. Let's look at Bitcoin quickly once again, and then we'll get off. Yeah. So still 2 hours till the daily close, but this is a significant level to hold. We'll see if it does, but that'd be a good bid zone if the daily closes. And then if that doesn't hold, we'll probably come back down here to the MAs again. Yeah, so I think that's it. Yeah, Propy just does keep pumping. This thing's fucking insane. Look at this. Massive green candles. Higher every single day. It's been what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Yeah, 6 green candles in a row. Yeah, we'll see what happens. This one might just keep pumping to the moon, but I'm alright with that. Yeah, not a crazy amount of resistance in the way. Yeah, it's tapping resistance. You can see here, if you zoom out all the way to the 3-day, that this level supports support resistance, and now we're tapping it again as resistance. So, yeah, don't buy into this because it's a long way down. There's nothing really holding us up, and we could easily just go all the way back down 65%. So you got to be careful. All right. I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I've been talking too long, and I need to go do something. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for stopping in. And if you guys need anything, let me know as usual. You know, the typical spiel I go on about. But it's been a really good week so far, and um, hopefully we can continue to do this over the next, handful of weeks or months or whatever it may be. But these are the kind of moves that we want to be catching, and we want to be catching them when they're here at the bottom because it's pretty fucking easy, 300% um, move that we should have nailed. But that's what my eyes are on, and that's what I scan through every single day. I go through literally starting at the Huobi exchange, Binance exchange, Qcoin exchange, and I just go one by one on the daily or the 4 hour, mark them up, see what I like, see what's going on, see what the MAs are doing. Are we uptrending or downtrending? Where, this is the typical thing I've said probably about a million times now. Um, yeah, that's really about it. So, yeah, okay. Well, thanks guys. I'll talk to you later.